Hi again, it's Mrs. Sanderson. After you have completed the worksheet that I walked you through on page 7 of the Leonardo workbook, we are now going to try to do our own version of this. So this is a separate activity that you're going to do on a different sheet of paper, or if you want to use the back, it depends on how this packet has been printed for you. If you printed this out yourself, maybe you have a blank sheet of paper on the back, or you can use your sketchbook or just any paper that you find laying around, but it would definitely be preferable if it doesn't have lines on it. So our goal is to draw some kind of shape, and I also will include some different reference images that you can look at so that you get a couple other ideas. You also can go online if you would like to get some more ideas and look up creative value charts for more ideas. So what you're going to do is draw something. Does not matter what it is. I drew a piece of birthday cake here with a little slice in it. Maybe I want to put this on a stand. You can make this as complicated or as simple as you would like. Definitely feel free to get creative with it. And you need to separate out some part of your drawing into 7 different sections. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stripes within my birthday cake. Each one of these different stripes is going to be a different value, like we did on this worksheet here, where it's going to go in order from dark to light. You can either start with dark at the top or at the bottom. It doesn't matter to me, but we're still going to be using the same techniques that we did before with the circle shading that I talked about in the last video. So I am very, very lightly gonna start off my first section here. I'm using circles, trying to make this as light as my pencil can go. I'm holding my pencil a little bit further back. Now as I move on to my second one, I'm going to get slightly darker here. And maybe it's a good idea, again, like I was telling you in the other video, to start off with something that's pretty similar to the value that you started off with for the first one, and then add a second layer on top to make it a little bit darker. Now this should be a little bit easier for you because we're only asking you to do 7 sections. In the worksheet here, you did 10, so this should actually be easier. But in this situation, you're going to get to see the full progression of all of these values right next to each other, which makes a value chart. And like I mentioned before, if you have value pencils at home that you'd prefer to use, you can definitely be doing that. But I would recommend that you use a number 2 pencil rather than a mechanical pencil. If you only have a mechanical pencil at home, then that's okay. But you might have a little bit more of a challenge to make the values change like they can with a regular pencil. So as I get down here, I'm continuing to make this a little bit darker as I go. And this is all happening with layers. It should not be that I just scribble as hard as I can to get the values onto my paper correctly. And I'm only going to do this side just so that you don't have to sit and watch me do the whole thing. But this should gradually be getting darker and darker, and then the final last one is as dark as my pencil can go. And remember, we're not scribbling this down as hard as we can. I'm going to do this in 1 layer first, and then I'm going to go over it to fill in all of these little empty white spaces that I have and to use the full pressure that I can with my pencil. So you can see I've gradually gone from light to dark. If you wanted to, you could do it the other way, where you go light at the bottom and up towards dark at the top, but there should be a clear difference between each of your values here and they should not be blending together and seeming to be the same. So if you have any that seem to be the same as the one next to it, you want to erase that section out and try it again to make sure that it is very distinct and different. And as I mentioned before, if you have any questions, make sure that you reach out to me or Ms. Barnett or Mrs. McCanna so that we can make sure that you are understanding how to do this correctly and turning something in that is complete and correct.